sports.
We are Blackboard. We are South.
In last night's 2-1 win, Williams Perez continued his improvements while the Braves offense scored just enough for the bullpen to provide some much-needed relief. Tonight, the series is up for grabs. It's the Phillies and the Braves. Saturday Night Baseball comes your way from Turner Field next. It's time for Braves baseball, a special night in Atlanta tonight at Turner Field as the Braves future and the Braves present meet for Game 2 of our series at home between Atlanta and the Fightin' Phillies. Should be a lot of fun at the old ball yard tonight. We'll see if the Braves can make it 2 in a row. Freddie Freeman had a hand in last night's 2-1 Atlanta win. 2 for 3, a double, and a run scored. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip, welcome to the ballpark. The Braves right now honoring their organizational players of the year. We'll tell you who they are and what they did a little later on tonight. But certainly it's great to see Freddie Freeman getting back into the swing of things, Joe. A disappointing year for him in this regard. He missed 42 games, and in many cases, Braves country wondering what could have been for Freddie.
Yeah, and the second stint on the disabled list, he was a little slow coming back, getting some timing back. But lately he's been red hot, and especially against these Fightin' Phillies. He has worn them out all year long, whether it's Turner Field, whether it's Citizens Bank Park. That hasn't really mattered. How about that beautiful swing last night to flare one down the line? He has been on fire against the Phillies. They haven't figured out how to pitch him yet. Take a look at these numbers. Against the Phillies this year, .339, 9 extra base hits, 12 RBIs, .312 average in his last 37 games against the Phillies dating back a couple of years. So Freddie has their number. Hopefully he's got it again tonight.
Yeah, he's been knocking the scrapple out of the ball from these Philadelphia pitchers. We'll see if he can do it tonight in Game 2 of the series. Ryan Weber takes the mound for Atlanta. He's been a terrific surprise for the ball club. We'll see what he has in store for us on a perfect night for baseball at
low price every day. Well, guys, rookie Ryan Weber on the hill tonight. He is one of the reasons that I am so passionate and love baseball. He's not 6'4". He doesn't throw the ball 95 miles an hour. His jersey's a little big, and if you passed him on the street, you wouldn't know that he's a major league pitcher. But what does he do? He goes out and pounds the strike zone with great sinkers. You can see the 2 starts this season. Good numbers in Gwinnett. Had a chance to catch up with Freddie G and AJ before the game.
He's been good. Webby's been really good. The start I had him in Philly, he pitched well. And every time you talk to him, he has the right answers, he has the right demeanor, and he looks like he's got a chance to be okay.
I'm looking for him to throw that, that sinker and pound the strike zone. And this is a good team to match up with. They're an aggressive team, and as a sinker baller, you get a team that's aggressive, and he'll get that sinker working. Our infielders better be on their toes because he works fast, throws strikes, and hopefully he gives it a good outing.
There you have it, a little advice from Freddie G. Infielders, be ready. This guy pounds the strike zones with a nasty sinker. A lot of ground balls coming your way. Very, very fun to watch. Again, his 3rd start. Braves, Phillies coming up next, game 2.
TNT Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
It's a gorgeous night for a ball game in Atlanta. Warm temperatures, gentle breeze blowing across the diamond toward the right field corner. Ryan Weber making friends with one of the hundreds of Girl Scouts at the ballpark tonight. And a terrific young lady performed our national anthem to a standing ovation. She was outstanding.
Yeah, from Sewanee. Kisney was her last name. Caroline Kisney.
That was exactly right.
Boy, was she good.
She was terrific. So nice job by Caroline. And hopefully Ryan Weber will have a terrific night tonight as he faces the Phillies in game 2 of the series. Lots of changes for the Phillies on their Academy Sports lineup. Still no Ryan Howard. He's out with a sore knee. And for Weber, making his 3rd major league start, I would assume, Joe, just keep doing what he's doing. He's been awfully impressive in his first 2.
Absolutely, and he's getting a lot of those ground outs. As you just heard Freddie Gonzalez say to Paul Bird, keep that sinker working. He's been doing that, getting ground outs, pitched a real good game against the Phillies his first time around. His 4 keys to pitching success goes to that consistency. Same hook. He's got a good curveball, too, so keep the same hook. same line. If he repeats it, what he did at Philadelphia, he got shut out 5-0. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, only gave up 2 runs. Do that same line tonight, you got it working. Same sinker, you get more ground balls. So if you go with the same hook, line, and sinker, I think you got a good shot tonight.
And if it works, you know who his next start's going to be against?
No.
The Marlins.
See?
Could be tremendous keys.
Yes.
For Weber in what will be his 4th big league start. Here's a look at the Braves' defensive lineup tonight. Bourne, Maben, and Markakis left to right in the outfield. Oliveira and Freeman on the infield corners. Simmons, Peterson, and Perzinski, the infield core. Nice crowd here tonight. Braves played a crisp ball game last evening. Yeah, there were some young errors, some older player errors, some mental mistakes, I guess the way you'd have to put it. But all's well that ends well for the Braves. They beat the Phillies 2-1, and that extended a very impressive streak for the Braves in 1-run games here. Atlanta has won 17 straight 1-run games in Atlanta. That's the highest win streak of such kind in team history. So we're underway. That's downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes to Andres Blanco. Blanco batted 5th last night. He's leading off tonight. And Pat Hoberg, the home plate umpire, the pride of Des Moines, Iowa, called that one a strike. Popped up left side. Oliveira and Simmons on the run. Oliveira got it. And a good start. 1 man down. Joe, something else we've noticed with regards to Weber. You saw the Fox tracks on those first couple of pitches. He really does wear out the bottom part of the strike zone.
And he's not afraid to pitch inside. He's already hit a couple of batters in his first 12 innings of work. That's a good sign, too, that he's trying to keep the hitters honest and keep them off his sinker.
So hopefully he'll get those calls from the home plate umpire. And hopefully the Phillies will beat it into the turf. Here's Darnell Sweeney. Second baseman by trade. Good athlete playing the outfield now for the Phils. And starting tonight in left field. He's hitting only 172 up here, but 3 homers. That's fouled off AJ at the plate. 2-2.
So far so good. When you look at the Fox tracks, anything that's above the middle line of that strike zone is not a good place for him to pitch.
You look at Ryan's line for that last start against the Mets on September 13th. 4 runs in 6 1/3 innings. He left the game with 2 runs in, 2 men on, and the Braves bullpen gave up a hit that brought in the 3rd and 4th run for his line that night. He walked 2 men in the ball game, which is also rather rare. He has excellent control. Popped up out of play, and we'll do it again with a full count. Entering this season, Weber had walked only 82 men in 476 career pro innings.
Yeah, 10 this year in 99 innings. Good night for his first win.
There you go. And a ground ball to short. Simmons has it and makes the easy throw to first. Ground ball out. Sweeney's retired. 2 away. And here's a double Herrera. Herrera's the 3rd place hitter for the Phillies. He had one of the more interesting at bats in the ball game last night in the 7th inning. The Braves protecting a 2-1 lead. Phillies had 2 men on, 1 man out, and Herrera bunted.
Yeah, I thought it was an awful play, but then I find out today that his manager told him to bunt. And I was dumbfounded. because I couldn't figure out why. And the explanation was that Pete Mackanin didn't like the matchup with Andrew McKirahan at the time. And maybe he was just trying to avoid a strikeout, but it was first and third, and the infield was back. And he didn't want him bunting for a sacrifice. He wanted him to try to bunt for a hit, which he did try to do.
And that was the bunt back to McKirahan, who made the glove flip to the plate to nail Chase Darno at the plate. So, thank you very much.
Yeah.
2 balls and a strike for Odubel Herrera. Rule 5 pick. He's knocked in 40 runs this year and is batting .297 for the season. He's been a nice find for the Phillies. There's that pitch inside. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, he's Charlie Browning, wasn't he? He's losing all the equipment and running for the high hills.
Full count. Darren Ruff is the first baseman for the Phillies. He's on deck. Weber would like to see him leading off the second. Won't happen. Herrera flips the bat away. Didn't like being brushed back. File that away, folks. 1 on with 2 outs, and here's Ruff. Ruff had a hit last night. That was a 6th inning single. He struck out in 2 of his other 4 at bats in the game. Phillies are still without Ryan Howard. The perennial Braves killer is out with a knee problem.
Is that from that throw the other day that he missed that hit him in the knee?
It might be.
Yeah.
Their notes say it was a 7th inning left knee contusion. That sounds right.
Yeah, I bet that's when it happened.
And he hasn't played since last Monday. So though Ryan Howard's numbers are in the .229 range with a batting average, he's still a fearful presence. He leads their club in homers with 23. Leads them in RBIs with 77. And saw Ryan after the game last night walking to the parking lot, and he's not moving well at all. I don't know if it's the end of the line for Howard this year or not. He looked very uncomfortable just walking, much less trying to play.
A lot of pitches this inning for Ryan Weber, and largely because the Phillies are trying to not offer at those pitches at the bottom of the zone. They know it's going to sink below the zone. So they're trying to get him to get the ball up. That's why they're being patient here and making him work hard.
Dangerous pitch to a big, strong man, Darren Ruff. 3 balls and a strike. And that's hit a mile high down the right field line, slicing and out of play, foul. Full count.
Good 3-1 pitch, though. Sinker coming back to the outside corner. Already the 3rd full count he's been to out of 4 hitters.
Look at where Weber is pitching Ruff. Runner goes, popped up. Markakis in right is there, and that ends the top of the first inning. Here come the Braves against Jared Eichhoff. Scoreless game. Let's check out Atlanta's Academy Sports and Outdoors starting lineup. It'll be headed by Nick Markakis, Hector Olivera, and Freddie Freeman. They're the first three who will face Phillies right-hander Jared Eichhoff. Phillies are looking for pitching any way they can get it, and they got a lot of it in the Cole Hamels deal.
Yeah, he is from Evansville, Indiana, 25 years old, 6'4", 240. These are the numbers from Frisco and Round Rock in the Texas organization, and AAA Lehigh Valley in the Phillies organization. Good numbers. 3.85 ERA and 12 wins. Fastball sits in the low to mid 90s with a slider, curve, and change.
So the first to face him is Nick Markakis, and he rips one into right field, a base hit on the first pitch. Boy, has Nick been ambushing the baseball the last couple of weeks.
He likes that first one, doesn't he?
That was a laser beam into right field. So there goes the no-hit bid, as Markakis has hit number 170 for the year.
You get a hit on the first pitch of the ball game. The rest of the night, you can just kind of strut around. I might get 2 or 3 tonight.
There you
Never
go.
know, I might get 4.
Right. Nick's career high is 191. He's got a shot when he's swinging the bat. And Hector Olivera is in with a man at first. That caught a corner, 0-2. Olivera had an infield hit here last night. He batted 7th. Tonight he's batting 2nd. And he bounces one up the middle. Nice pick. Flip to second. Throw to first. Safe. Ruff tried to steal an out. Beautiful athletic turn by the Phillies. Blanco and Galvis.
Yeah, it's interesting they flip-flopped those guys tonight between short and second. Freddie Galvis, we've seen him at second base and how good he is. Haven't had an opportunity to see Blanco that much, but we're told he's able to handle that position just fine.
And they're without Cesar Hernandez, as we told you yesterday. He's got a bad thumb and is in all likelihood lost for the year. So here's Freddie Freeman, and he launches one foul. Right over the top of the Braves dugout.
I think everybody's okay.
hit to the left side, out of play. Quickly, 0-2.
Eichhoff's last start was a week ago today, and it was against the Cubs, and he pitched a great ball game. 7 innings of 3 hit, 1-run ball. Walked 3, struck out 8 against a hot hitting Cubs team.
Swing and a miss by Freeman. He's strikeout victim number 1. Yeah, the Phillies won the game 7-5 as the Cubs had trouble catching the ball. And Freddie had trouble hitting that one.
Yeah, nice slow curve there.
Sunk out of sight. So Oliver at first, 2 out.
Phillies actually won the season series with the Cubs 5-2 and won all 3 games at Wrigley.
Strike 1. That's great beauty about this game. Anybody can beat anybody else on any given day. You just don't know. Foul back 0-2 to the Braves catcher A.J. Pierzynski. I believe everything's okay with Christian Bethancourt after that collision at the plate last night. He was down on the turf for a few moments after Darno banged into him at the plate. And with a right-hander on the mound, AJ gets a chance to play. Freddie split the catching duties. Yeah, I'd guess 60-40 in favor of Pierzynski. We'll see how it plays out for a wrap up here tomorrow. Fly ball center. Herrera on the run is going to get there, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, a man left. We go to the second. City to city, one more road trip remains for the Braves in 2015. We'll be headed to New York after the ball game tomorrow. We'll fly to Miami late in the night for an off day on Thursday, and then 3 with the Fish, then back home for the final week of regular season play.
Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Starters run support lowest in Major League Baseball. No surprise that these 2 ball clubs pitchers suffer the most at 3.9. Rays not too far behind, neither are the Marlins.
Surprised to see the Angels on that list.
Yeah.
They're in playoff contention. They've got a big day of baseball today in Minneapolis. We'll get to the scores a little later on, but boy, oh boy, here in the final 2 weeks, the races are tightening up, especially with regards to the wild card scenario. There are a lot of them. As Brian Bogusevich leads off and takes a good hook, strike one.
There's the good hook.
Line to left over Oliveira. And Bourne gets there to cut it off. And Bogusevich with a leadoff hit.
That one, not so much.
Yeah. That was the line, but a line drive.
That one was supposed to be a nice backdoor breaking ball, but just too much of the plate.
Here's Carlos Ruiz. Mentioned last night, he's got another year on his contract with an option for 2017. As much as Cameron Rupp is catching, just a guess, would think he would be the odds-on favorite to be the #1 catcher, and Ruiz is back up next year.
That would be my summary as well, but you never know. With the new president of baseball ops coming in, they may choose to go a different direction, try to move Ruiz to another club.
Ruiz and Ryan Howard, the only holdovers from the Phillies World Championship Club. Has hit 2 homers this year, has knocked in 22 men. I'll say this for Ruben Amaro. He certainly did reward his veteran players for lengthy service in a Phillies uniform. They tried to win more than one championship. It just didn't work out for them. Pitching broke down. Howard broke down. Utley broke down. And now what's left are a couple of guys with great Phillies pedigrees, big contracts, but a lot of mileage on the odometer.
Well, I thought one of the mistakes he made, though, with that club was getting rid of Charlie Manuel, who knew how to run that club.
Yeah, the Ryan Sandberg experiment did not work at all.
No.
In Philadelphia. And that's another question for the Phillies. Who's going to manage their team going forward? Just safe is Bogusevich. That was close. Whoever thought he got him. Freddie Freeman's looking in at the dugout. Did he?
Hard to tell when the glove hit the underside of his arm. I don't think they did.
Freddie Freeman needs to get some of those tassels like on chaps. Put them on the bottom side of his glove, because that would be part of the glove. You know, you just.
Yeah. Inflict a little pain on him while you're at it.
There you go. An opposite field hit for Ruiz. Bogusevich was running on the pitch, and the Phillies have men at the corners with nobody out. Nice piece of hitting by Ruiz to fill the hole.
Trying to get that one to come back to the outside corner again. So far, the Phillies are taking some smart approaches up to the plate with them.
Cody Ashe was 0 for 2 last night. Bouncing ball to first. Freeman to second for 1. Simmons thought about coming home, but makes the smart play to first to get the double play. 2 long throws is what saved the Phillies there. Bogusevich scores the first run of the night. It's 1-0 Phillies.
Braves were playing for 2 and willing to concede the run. Andrelton wasn't willing to concede the run. Still got the double play.
I've used this term before, and I hope people understand what I mean by this. He plays with such great defensive arrogance And I think that's a good thing. There's not a play that Andrelton Simmons doesn't think he can make. And to stay out of a big inning, he made the smart decision, but it would have been interesting to see him bring that ball home to see if they could have cut off Bogusevic. 1-0 Phillies. And here's Galvis. And he's ahead in the count, 2-0. This guy's a tough out, but he is hitting 8th. Pitcher next with 2 outs. 3-1 your count.
Yeah, try not to restart an inning. 2 outs, nobody on, already a run in. Don't restart it by putting someone on.
High fly ball to right. Markakis retreats back to the warning track, back to the wall, back up against the wall, has just enough room.
I think the wind was blowing in.
Galvis hit that a mile high and a mile deep, but not deep enough. 1-0 Phillies. Look at Jared Eichhoff. Cameron Maybin will get things started. He's tonight's Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
He has done some good work against the Philadelphia Phillies as well. Last 36 games for Cameron, a .330 average, good slugging percentage, and very productive. 1 for 3 with a stolen base last night.
And Cameron had what proved to be the game-winning RBI. That was in the 4th inning against Adam Morgan. The Marietta kid looked very good last night, I thought. But Morgan did suffer his 7th loss. 3 of those 7 have come at the hands of the Braves.
Well, another example of what we showed a minute ago with lack of run support for both clubs.
Swing and a miss for Cameron Maybin. It was a gigantic deal that was swung by the Phillies and the Texas Rangers. And it's a trade that really has helped Texas for the 2015 season. The Phillies are hoping it'll help them the rest of this year and for many years to come. 6 players came back to Philadelphia in the deal that sent Jake Diekman and Cole Hamels to the Rangers. Nick Williams, Matt Harrison, Jake Thompson, Alec Asher, and Jorge Alfaro, along with Jared Eichhoff. And strike 3 paints the inside corner. Maybin's retired. That's strikeout number 2 tonight.
He's had a good fastball and he's had a very good breaking ball. This was the fastball, and Ruiz did a nice job of enhancing it.
Andrelton was 0 for 3 last night. And Eichhoff has everything working to this point. Up the middle, and Blanco can't get it. Simmons has the second Braves hit. And his first of the series.
Fastball. And when Andrelton's using that part of the field, you really like it.
Jace Peterson in the lineup for the first time since Thursday. Runner goes, and a shot into right field, a base hit. Simmons around second, on his way to third, and he will stop there. Peterson has to scramble back to first base. And now it's the Braves' turn to have him first and third. Peterson followed Nick Markakis' lead and jumped all over the first pitch he saw.
And Freddie Gonzalez trying to get something started here. Got a guy on, put a hit and run on, and to perfection. Jace Peterson pulls it right by Roof.
So Michael Bourne becomes the key man in the inning. Michael hitting 170 as a Brave. But he's 5 for 14 this year against the Phillies.
Last inning, or the top half of this inning, when Bogasevich was running, he got deked at second. He was able to make it to third base, but he wasn't sure where the ball was because he was on a straight steal and didn't take a look over his shoulder. Andrelton Simmons, on the other hand, with a hit and run on. The difference is, watch Andrelton run, and then he takes a peek back. He sees contact. He knows to keep going because if it's a line drive, he's going to be doubled up anyway. But he took that quick peek back so they knew where the ball went.
Sharply hit. That's off Ruff. He's coming home, and Ruiz the catch and the tag.
Wow, that worked out nicely for the Phillies.
And Michael Bourne is just beside himself.
Yeah.
He is the guy this year that just can't buy a hit.
Andrelton was going on contact, and rightfully so, because like the Braves, the Phillies were playing for a double play, willing to concede a run. But that one either went off the glove of Ruff or off his knee to keep it from getting into right field, and Rob Bourne again.
So 2 outs for Weber, 2 on. And Eichhoff a strike.
Actually, if they were able to turn the double play, it would have ended the inning.
And 2. And that's your inning. He has struck out 3 men. The Braves had first and third with 1 out, but Ruff with a lucky bounce keeps the Phillies in front.
I'm excited to see Ryan Weber in his third professional start. You really never know how somebody's going to do to like get up here in the big leagues. I checked around, did my homework. I said, what is the most impressive thing about Ryan Weber? Everyone said the movement on his sinker. And guys, real easy, it's a math problem. The harder you throw it one way, the harder it is to get it to move to a different direction and keep that velocity up. So everyone is surprised that he's getting a lot of movement on his sinker and still able to throw it 90 miles an hour. Now, tonight, something of special note. It's very easy to throw a sinker when the wind is blowing in your face because the ball will dive down. Tonight, the wind blowing in, seeing the Phillies for the second time, this is a big test for Ryan Weber, try to execute that sinker in a very difficult environment.
Good stuff, Paul. And you're right. I mean, people have been marveling at how much his pitches move, and I think it's fun for our fans at home to be able to watch it from our center field camera and see the sink on it.
I just love the fact that he's having some success and doesn't have to throw 95 miles an hour. He truly is a throwback pitcher in that regard, and one of 5 Braves rookies to start a game this year. Jared Eichhoff is the man he faces first in the 3rd inning. 1-0 Phillies in front. Eichhoff has a couple of hits in 9 at-bats. First Philly starter ever to have multiple RBIs in his major league debut. It was on August 21st when he beat the Marlins in Miami. 5 hits over 6 innings, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts.
There's another team they have the season series advantage over. They are 8-5 against the Marlins,
and that's where they go next. Somebody's got to cool off the fish. Maybe the Phillies will be the team that does it. Eichhoff down on strikes. First of the night for Weber. 1 away in the top of the 3rd inning. Here's Blanco. He popped out to Oliveira to start the game.
Love that first pitch breaking ball. That's kind of a get over curve.
Two balls, 1 strike.
That's the one they're not fishing for just yet, and mostly because they're ahead in the count. If they're behind in the count, they're more apt to swing at it.
Blanco faces a 3-2 pitch now. And he didn't get it. Nice recovery for Weber. Back-to-back strikeouts. 2 out.
Middle of the plate and then off the plate.
Two stops in the minor leagues for Ryan this year. AA and AAA, both spots sub-3 ERAs. And he's pitching a good ball game so far tonight. 2 strikeouts and a pop out. Quickly ends the Phillies' 3rd inning. Top of the order will try to get him even in Atlanta. XCX concert here in Atlanta. It's Braves Country Grab Bag Day when the Cardinals are in town October 2nd. With your game ticket, you get to choose one of over 25 Braves promo items to take home as a souvenir. Visit braves.com/grabbag for more information and to purchase your tickets.
Charlie, XCX was a hot ticket.
Yep, we've got the Sam Hunt concert coming up on the next homestand. That'll be great.
Might want to consider a concert for Caroline Kisney, who sang the anthem.
Yes.
Boy, was she good.
2 balls, no strikes. Bouncing ball to the right side. Galvis has it, and the throw to first. Can't imagine what that's like. 10, 11, 12 years old. Mom and dad's at the game. You got all your friends. You're wearing your Girl Scout uniform. You got 25,000 people looking at you. You got your earplugs in so you don't get affected by the microphone. And you got to sing. And she didn't miss a beat or a note.
Yeah, it's not like you can blend in. She's standing right out there between the mound and home plate.
Yeah, I mean, that was Timothy Miller style.
Yeah.
So that was really nicely done.
Timothy would have been proud of her.
Hector Olivera is 0 for 1, hit into a force play his first time up. Kind of like what I see out of Mr. Eichhoff so far tonight.
Yeah, he's got a good hard breaking ball. Good life on his fastball.
And that's over the screen out of play. 0-2. Only time will tell how good the Phillies haul in players, prospects will be from the Texas Ball Club. That's the inherent risk you take when you trade a proven commodity like Cole Hamels for the salary relief and a whole lot of potential. We'll evaluate the trade more fully in 2 or 3 years. But we got a catcher that is supposedly one of the best catchers in all of the minor leagues. That's the Alfaro kid, who's out of Colombia. Got a lot of pitching. Don't forget Matt Harrison. He's an established major league pitcher, but he's had all kinds of back problems. He was shut down for the rest of this season. If he comes back, that'd be a nice addition to their rotation. As Ruiz came out of his crouch ready to fire to third on what he thought was strike 3.
Well, Pat Hoberg has been a little bit delayed on his calls, which is okay. He's been consistent that way, and I bet Ruiz just thought, well, it's coming, but no call.
Olivera hits it hard toward right. Bogusevic bag, leaps up, can't get it off the base of the wall. Olivera on his way to second. He's going to make the turn. Stutter step around the bag. Throw to third is going to be a little late. Ball gets away, but no further advance. Hector Olivera triples off the wall in right with 1 out.
And Ruiz having a chat with Pat Hoberg about the previous pitch. Boy, this ball jumped off of Hector's bat. Fastball away. He hit it that way. And Bogusevic hit the ball hard. Good relay. It's not in time. Might have even hit Hector.
That's his first career triple. And he represents the tying run for Freddie Freeman. Talked about Freddie in our opening comments. Good work he's done in his career against the Phillies. Here's a chance to, at the very least, get it tied in the 3rd inning. Freddie Freeman, 6th highest batting average in baseball with runners in scoring position. He's a .360 hitter.
Here's the previous pitch to Olivera that Ruiz thought was strike 3 and was ready to throw it to third. Big high curve ball, and I don't know what was wrong with it either. So the Braves got a break there, and they've got a man at third thanks to that extra pitch.
A.J. Pierzynski's on deck. Phillies not giving Freeman an awful lot to hit here. They pitch around him. They'll hope to get a ground ball off the bat of A.J. 1-0 Phillies. Braves third inning. Green light, foul back.
He's throwing him a lot of breaking balls.
That one just missed down and in. And Freeman walks to first. They're at the corners for Pierzynski. One of the questions we had for the Braves coming out of spring training is who would protect Freddie Freeman in this Atlanta offensive lineup. Braves have had 128 different lineups so far this year. The three most likely men to hit fourth behind Freddie Freeman have been A.J. Pierzynski, Nick Markakis, and Kelly Johnson. That trio has hit fourth combined 94 times this year. Tonight it's A.J.'s 44th cleanup appearance. And he hits one in the air toward the shortstop, or towards second, I should say. And Galvis is there to make the play for out number 2. A.J. jumped on the first pitch, and Galvis made the play. Mr. Freddie playing short.
Lately for A.J., the pop-ups have been more prevalent than anything else. Trying to turn on that good heater inside, got jammed. And really, if Galvis had looked to first instead of to third, he might have been able to double up Freddie Freeman.
Cameron Maben with 2 outs.
Need another 2-out knock from Cameron like the Braves got last night.
Popped up. Bogusevic is in. He's at the line and in foul ground makes the play. And Eichhoff pitches around a 1-out triple. He leads 1-0. But the Braves couldn't bring him home. Time for the AT&T Universe trivia question. Nick Markakis has 170 hits this year. Name the last Braves outfielder with a season of 180 or more hits. That's why you're a good hitter. See that? Even when he's in the outfield, Nick is practicing his swing.
Thinking about it, picturing it.
Here's Odubel Herrera, swing and miss. Wonder if the answer would be Michael Bourne, who had such a great year for the Braves a few years back.
Could be. It's a good choice.
There were a lot of us who were really disappointed when he and the Braves couldn't come to terms a couple of years ago, and Michael ended up signing with the Indians. Bourne was so great in the clubhouse, great on the field, played outstanding center field, and was such, Joe, a great mentor in the locker room for Jason Hayward, who was still a very young, impressionable player at the time. Those two men were inseparable.
Yeah, he was even more than a mentor. He was like a boss.
That's a great way of putting it.
He kept him. He stayed on Jason.
There's a good pitch. Herrera tied up. One out in the fourth.
A lot of left-handers who give up on this pitch. Starts in, tails back. I think it's going to stay inside, but the good movement is terrific.
That was caught very quietly by AJ too. Nice work to frame the pitch and rough the hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. You know, he's looking forward to tomorrow's game. Darren Ruff. It's Bark in the Park day. Just thought you'd like to know. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yes. Glad you reminded me. Need to remind all the folks not to put hats on their dogs.
That's right. Don't have many rules. But I'm with you on that.
No, not many.
Cats are fine. Put a hat on a cat.
Oh, yeah.
Do whatever you want to the cat.
Well, I can't wait for that meow in the park night.
I shouldn't have brought it up. You never know. Might be in planning stages for next year already. But yeah, bandanas are cool. Outfits are cool. No hats. Dogs don't like hats. Or cats. 2-2 pitch is low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 4 outside, 1 on, 1 out. Second walk for Ryan tonight. Yeah, the timing of Bark in the Park's a real bummer. It's getaway day for us. I was hoping it would have been earlier in the homestand. Haven't seen Tilly, haven't seen Sugar Bean in a while. Give Val something else to try to corral besides you and me in the booth if those two are here.
She'd never come back. It'd be her last old trip to Turner Field.
She's had enough, huh? Bogusevic, the batter, with 1 man out.
Feel a tap on my shoulder, and Joe, I don't know what this is, but you're going to have to clean it up.
Just past 8 o'clock tonight in Atlanta. The Phillies lead in game 2, 1-0. Yeah, good game last night. Crowd was entertained with post-game fireworks. As this one's tapped back to the mound. Second for 1, first for 2, double play. That's entertaining as well. Weber helping himself. He's getting the ball on the ground and an A.J. Przinsky's glove, and now let's get him some run support. Phillies lead in the 4th, 1-0. Philadelphia. The Phillies have not been very kind to the Braves in recent years, but this year, look at this.
Yeah, the last 5 games, the Braves have had something working against them that's pretty good. High batting average, 4.5 runs a game, good ERA, and the all-important run differential over those 5 games. Atlanta leads the season series 9-8, and they are 5-2 here.
Anytime you can talk about a positive run differential after a season like this, no matter the opponent, you will take it, because that is the tale of the tape for both of these ball clubs in 2015. Phillies have been outscored by their opponents by 201 runs. Braves are negative 195. Young pitching.
Larry Anderson and I were talking about that before the game, the radio voice for the Phillies, and we were talking about how much we enjoy seeing young players come to the big leagues and, you know, test themselves.
Sure.
But for these two teams, there's been too many.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a never-ending flow of rookies making their debuts that are still on the ball club, basically, where in the past these two ball clubs were fighting for the division title instead of where they are right now. So you were anxious to see this new phenom that had joined the Phillies and see what he's going to do with their ball club, whether it was Dominic Brown or Michael Franco or whoever it was back in those days. And they were the same way when they saw Jason Hayward come to the big leagues. How good is this guy?
Towards second. That'll be the first out. And the game certainly changed with expansion. We've talked about that in seasons past as well. 20-30 years ago, some of these young pitchers that are here now wouldn't have had a chance to come to the big leagues at the time that they are. They'd pitch another couple of years in the minor leagues to really learn how to pitch and develop. They're being asked to develop and win here, which is something Tom Glavine talked about, and that's really, really tough. Chase Peterson, another first pitch swing. This one almost took Ruff's cap off. He made the good play, though, for the second out.
Tell you what, he's not bad over there, is he?
Nope.
Handled this tough hop and saved a double. And just before the pitch, trying to get him to move over. Wisely so. Larry Bowa's seen a game or two.
You bet. He's managed a couple of times as well. Wonder if he'll get a shot at what may be a very busy managerial field in this offseason before next year. Bowen the batter. And takes a strike, even count. One thing about Larry Bowa, if you don't, or if you're worried about the answer, don't ask him the question.
Yeah. I like guys like that.
I mean, he is old school.
Bingo. Right in the mask. He's got the curveball over the top that he fouled off. That was an attempt at a backdoor slider. And he's throwing in the low 90s.
Bourne went around. Ruiz didn't even bother waiting for the umpire's call on that pitch. And Eichhoff continues his terrific performance in Atlanta. He's through 4 with a 1-run lead.
sports and outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
It's 1-0 Phillies. Good matchup tonight. Ryan Weber gave up a second inning run. That's been enough for Jared Eichhoff, the young Phillies starter, pitching in his 6th game for Philadelphia. As we head to the 5th inning, Ruiz, Ashe, and Galvis are coming up. Tight ball game last night. Atlanta won that one 2-1. Phillies a run on 2 hits, no runs, 4 hits for Atlanta. They've left 5 on base. And an even count for Carlos Ruiz. Two balls, 2 strikes. Little tapper back to the mound, and that'll be easy. 1 away.
Hey, Paul Bird.
I got you.
I was just observing and trying to figure out some things on Ryan Weber myself. And one of the things that I've noticed is that on his follow through, he finishes standing real straight up. Is there anything to that enhances his sinker by not really following through, bending over quite as much?
I think every pitcher is different. I like to reach out and extend, but when you finish a little straighter up, and you would see Maddox do that a little bit at times, let the ball go late and then be in a fielding position, it allows you to stay on top of the baseball. Now, Weber, what I like so much about him is he's just nice and easy and effortless. I walked behind home plate and watched him, and I agree with you. He does stand up a little bit, but he just doesn't work very hard, which means you can pitch forever when you're throwing nice and easy. That's a good catch by you. I would say every pitcher is different, and what that allows you to do is to stay on top of the baseball.
Yeah, it's like he's throwing batting practice. I mean, with that little effort.
That's something that's not discussed as much as I think it should be in today's game. Even talking with Gene Garber, who's here earlier today, he's talked about how that radar gun being up on the wall changes everything, and guys overthrow. And if you just relax and make your pitch it 90 to 95% effort, not only can you last a lot longer, but it's a whole lot easier to hit your spots. And so I've been impressed with this young man, as you talked about, his great sinker, but also the fact that he hasn't changed anything. He's not overwhelmed with being here, doing anything different, or trying to throw as hard as he can.
Good point. And you're right about the radar gun. So is Gene in this respect. I haven't seen Ryan Weber stop and look up there once, because it doesn't matter to him.
Right.
But every guy that comes in this ballpark that throws 95, as soon as they throw a pitch and walk up the slope of the mound, they're taking a glance up there like, how hard did I throw that one? Which is sometimes more important to them than where they located it.
Bouncing ball to first. Freeman has to backpedal. Weber to the bag. Good feed, good play. Goodbye, Cody Ashe. 2 outs. Yeah, we all know why the radar gun's there. It's entertainment purposes. Fans ooh and ah, and broadcasters talk about, wow, he threw the ball 100 miles an hour, and that's all fine and good. But being able to pace yourself, I would think, fellas, as a pitcher is important too. If every pitch is max velocity, you're going to run out of bullets pretty quickly. And that doesn't appear to be the case for Weber tonight. Changing speeds well. Working hard. But it doesn't appear max effort hard. And he's throwing a lot of strikes. 0-1 for Galvis.
Another thing, guys, too, I notice about Ryan Weber, and you really tell what a pitcher believes when he gets in a jam. And when I've seen him get in a jam, that doesn't raise the radar gun either. He simply continues to make his pitch nice and easy. And Joe, I'm guessing it's a lot harder to hit a well-located fastball that's moving than velocity.
Absolutely it is, Paul.
That's yanked foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
But that's also why when a guy like this makes a mistake, it's very evident because it gets hit hard. Because he's not able to get away with a mistake by throwing it by you. But that's why I really applaud what he's doing, because it is kind of out of the norm these days to be a pitcher.
Got the inside corner. That's that pitch to the lefty you talked about.
He gave up on it too.
Weber takes care of Freddie Galvis. That is 4 strikeouts for Ryan Weber tonight, and he'll lead off the Atlanta 5th.
Phillies ahead 1-0 in bottom of the 5th, but earlier today you can see that it's the Braves Organizational Awards Day. That was Terrell Jenkins and Malik Smith. Even signed some autographs, got to watch some BP walk out and accept the plaques. The future is bright for the Atlanta Braves. You see Terrell Jenkins, Pitcher of the Year, Malik Smith, Player of the Year. And I got to say this, you guys were talking about it earlier. Michael Bourne was out there counseling Malik Smith, and he told him, hey, you can't take my job. I got a lot left in the tank, but keep working hard. And then Terrell Jenkins would say it was the best experience of his professional career so far, and seeing batting practice, being in the stadium, only made him want to work harder to get here quicker.
I think it's great, Paul, that they do that. Great incentive to see what the carrot is at the end. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, the fact that Jenkins and Smith and Banuelos and Adonis Garcia in their first year in the Braves organization to win those organizational honors is a real credit to the Braves front office. They went out and got good players for the deals they made, and those men all had fine seasons here in Atlanta.
Well, I don't know if he will take Michael Bourne's job or not, but I can tell Nick Markakis that he won't have to hit leadoff much longer when Malik Smith gets here, and Nick might welcome that.
57 stolen bases for Malik Smith. That was the 5th highest total in all of the minor leagues. And hit .326 over his final month plus with AAA Gwinnett. You know about Manny Banuelos? He couldn't be here tonight, still recovering from his elbow surgery. The Braves had a bone spur removed from his pitching elbow, and are confident that he'll be ready to go in spring training next year. Victor Mateo and Emerson Landoni were the pitchers and players of the year at Mississippi. And a young man that you really want to pay close attention to is Austin Riley. He was the Danville Braves Player of the Year. Ryan's down on strikes. Austin Riley's a slugging third baseman. Hit .351 at Danville and played just 30 games for the Danville Braves. So the positive part for what's been a 58-90 season for the Braves this year has been the redevelopment, the restocking of the system. They return to the Braves way as far as how the Braves draft and develop their talent. And there is some talent in the system, and some of it could be here sooner rather than later. And there will be plenty to come later. The Braves are going to have a very high draft pick this year. They hope it won't be the first overall.
Yeah, they don't want that one yet.
Two balls, no strikes for Nick Markakis. And that painted a corner. It's 2-1.
A lot of use of the opposite field for Nick. He especially goes over there with left-handed hitters, or pitchers rather.
That ball's popped to the left side. And no play for Cody Ashe, the Phillies third baseman. It's now 2-2.
I know what Nick's looking forward to. Not just the end of the season after a long, grueling season and playing virtually every day, but once he's well rested, is getting back in the gym and the workout room. Something he wasn't able to do last winter.
Full count for Markakis. 1-0 Phillies. They have 2 hits. The Braves have 4 so far tonight. And that stayed high, I suppose. Ruiz held it there for another moment.
3-2 curveball. He's not getting the call too often, and I wouldn't say that Weber's getting a ton of the curveballs called either. I remember an umpire one time in college. We had this pitcher named Jackson Todd at OU who was just had a great curveball, and he wasn't calling any curveballs at all. And the catcher finally said, "What is wrong with all these curveballs?" He goes, "Well, it's too high when it starts breaking and it's too low when you catch it."
Well, how about calling it in the middle?
What happened in the middle? Where's it crossing the line?
Yeah. He gets. Huh. That'll drive a pitching coach crazy, and a pitcher too. Best chance for the Braves came in Oliveira's last at bat. He tripled off the wall and was left stranded. And Ruiz can't find it. Now does, but no advance. 1 ball, 1 strike. There was a time in baseball when people thought that the curveball was truly an optical illusion. And there was a pitcher 100+ years ago by the name of Candy Cummings who proved that you could actually make the baseball curve. His grandson was John Cummings, who was a major league pitcher with the Seattle Mariners back in the early 90s.
I remember that.
John? The irony of it was he didn't have much of a curveball.
No, he didn't. He did not inherit it.
No. 1-2 count. Little pop into shallow left, and that'll be handled by Sweeney. 2 down.
You know what? I think John Cummings pitched briefly here for the Braves.
Here's Freddie Freeman. Freddie struck out in the first, was pitched around in the third. Freddie's had a real solid year considering he hasn't had a ton of protection behind him in the lineup, and that he's missed what will be over a quarter of the regular season with the wrist and the oblique injuries.
I was wrong. Not here.
Not here.
Just Seattle is where I remember him from. Freddie's going to look for that hook in a minute.
Fly ball well hit to right, but not well enough. Bogusevic is there, and that will retire the side. Braves strand their 6th man of the ball game, and we're off to the 6th inning.
Toyota dealers, let's go places. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by the Home Depot. Let's do this. The Georgia Lottery. And your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places.
Beautiful night in Atlanta with Joe Simpson, Paul Byrd, and the rest of our great Fox Sports crew. Chip Carey with you from Turner Field, where the Phillies lead 1-0. And I hope she's having a very special day today. The man in the batter's box certainly is. Jared Eichhoff, facing the Braves tonight, has a 4-hit shutout brewing. And he hits a roller to the left side. Victor charges and throws on the run. Nice play. There's the first out. Phillies don't have a hit since the 2nd inning.
Yeah, they had the 1st and 3rd, 1 out, and actually nobody out. Braves elected to go for a ground ball double play to prevent a big inning and allow the run to score. In the next inning, actually the bottom of the 2nd, the Braves had a similar situation, and everything went the Phillies' way after Ruff couldn't field the ball cleanly. Booted it, picked it up through home, was able to get Andrelton Simmons.
Ground ball to second off the bat of Andres Blanco. 2 quick outs. Told you we'd get to the scores. Let's do that here while we have a second. Mets and Yankees Subway Series. Yankees won big today, 5-0. They beat Noah Syndergaard, I believe it was today.
Yep.
Another beanball fest in Chicago. The Cubs held on to beat the Cardinals. 5-4 was the final. What was your take on what happened between the Cardinals and Cubs yesterday with Matt Holliday and Dan Herron, Matt Belisle and Anthony Rizzo, and then Joe Madden post game?
I didn't have any problem with whoever it was that hit Rizzo. It was just kind of tit for tat and move on. That was the end of it. Joe Madden made a big case of it after the game, and he's protecting his players naturally, and he took exception to the, I think he used the term, the Cardinal way. So he was firing some shots across the Cardinals' bow. Some more guys got plumped today, and I think there was another ejection.
Yeah, Rondon in the 9th inning, and Joe Madden got kicked out as well. And so with that win today, the Cubs have pulled to within 5 games of the Cardinals for the division lead. And they're only a half game behind the Pirates for the #1 wild card. Nice pick, nice throw, good play, good inning defensively for Hector Olivera. 7 pitches for Ryan Weber. That got him 3 outs, and it sends our game to the home 6th, where the Phillies lead by a run. Sixth inning. Here's the National League playoff picture up to the moment. As I said, the wild card, the real tight race. The Cubs a half game back. They would love to host the 1-game play-in game with the Pirates.
And the Dodgers just keep moving right along, keeping that distance between themselves and the Giants. Best the Giants could hope for was the wild card, and I don't think they're making any headway on that one either.
Yeah, the Giants lost again today. Arizona beat them 6-0. As another pop-up off the bat of A.J. Przinsky is skied toward left. And there's out #1. Tonight, it'll be the Pirates and Dodgers. Liriano versus Kershaw. Pirates have lost 4 straight games. And they're in the middle of a 10-game Western road trip. That is a tough time for that, isn't it?
No, I was just going to say, what horrible scheduling for them to have a 10-day West Coast trip right on the heels of that series with the Cubs that was so important, where they lost 3 out of 4.
And Jung-Ho Kong, the terrific infielder, to a broken leg and torn knee ligament, and is done for the year.
Back to your question a minute ago about the situation in Chicago with Cubs and the Cardinals. I'm just the old school traditionalist part of me is like, Rizzo should have halfway expected something. And even Dan Herron, who hit Holiday, told Rizzo after the game, his teammate said, "I'm sorry you got hit," because he knew it was his fault. That that he knew the Cardinals would do something in retaliation for him hitting Holiday in the helmet.
Yeah, and that was the point, I think, for the Cardinals. We know from our conversations with Tony La Russa, he's as old school as it gets. He understands how the game is to be played, and yes, there is. As Maven pops this one up to the right side. And it's going to be rough. He can't make the play. Alvis was there. Ruff was there. Neither made the play. And a free swing for Maven.
Footsteps got him. He ran all that way. He was the only guy ready to make the play. And heard the footsteps. So to use Joe Madden's words, the pound of flesh for the hit by pitch retribution. Fly ball center. Herrera's going to catch this. And here's the second out. What Tony La Russa hated was when pitchers would pitch in and up.
I mean, Tony La Russa's theory was you go above the shoulders, things like this can happen, and something serious could take place. Holiday fortunate enough that he was fine. There's the retaliation. Rizzo's been hit more than anybody else in the league. He was incensed at Matt Belisle. So that adds an awful lot more spice to what's already one of the best rivalries in baseball, and one that very could take place in postseason play in the first round if the Cubs win the wild card game.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
Fly ball center, and Herrera is there. I am very impressed with Jared Eichhoff. 8 pitches, earns him 3 more outs, and we're off to the 7th inning. Visit the AT&T Uverse trivia question. Nick Markakis has 170 hits this year. Name the last Braves outfielder with a season of 180 or more base hits.
I'm going to ride your coattails.
You say Michael Borden?
Uh-huh.
All right, let's see if we're right. It was Jeff Francoeur. 2007, had 188 of them. Happy for Jeff. He's really enjoyed his time in Philadelphia. Thrilled to be back in Atlanta for this series. His lovely wife, Katie, getting ready for their second child. And hopefully Jeff's career resurrection will continue with the Phillies next year and for many to come if he so chooses. Odubel Herrera is 0 for 1 with a walk.
Well, for Francoeur in 03, Gary Sheffield had 190. 2000, Andrew Jones had 199. And then Marquise Grissom in 96 had 207 hits.
Sharply hit. Nice play, Peterson. He stabbed at that baby. It was a rocket. Boys, he had a good year at second base.
That is not one I thought he was going to flag down. Thought it was hit too hard. Great reaction. Crossover step was the first move. That helped. Right there. That one step, that crossover step, is so important. Just about everything you do in baseball.
Weber's retired 14 of 15 batters. A base on balls, the only interruption to a more impressive string. Phillies have but 2 hits, but they're winning the game. As Darren Ruff is the hitter. Got to give a lot of credit to Terry Pendleton and Carlos Tosca. Those two men have worked tirelessly with Jace Peterson on his defensive work at second base.
Ooh, nice breaker. Tied him up. He didn't want to flinch or back off, so he was just going to try to somehow pull the bat through there.
Two walks, 4 strikeouts for Weber, and now make it 5 strikeouts. And here's the out distribution tonight.
So sharp.
He is pitching.
11 ground outs to 4 fly ball outs. That was strikeout number 5. Outstanding work again in that Ford Key about same line. He's done it one better so far.
Dare we say it's Medlin-esque for Ryan Weber tonight. Saw Chris pitch a lot of games like this in a Braves uniform. And he's making his comeback from Tommy John surgery in spectacular fashion with the Royals this year. Medlin's 4-1. And he'll pitch tomorrow.
Making a case for a spot in their postseason rotation.
Two strikes for Bogusevich. And out of play. Some feel strike one's the most important pitch of a sequence. If that's true, you're going to love Weber's line in that column. Strike one to 18 of the 23 hitters he's faced. There is action in the bullpen. Weber up to 95 pitches. And that one just missed high. 2-2.
Well, so far he's pitched 12 2/3 innings against the Phillies and has not had one run scored for him.
Weber said in a recent start he entered it with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He wanted to prove that his first start wasn't a fluke. And this one a slow roller out in front of the mound. He's got it with a bare hand, and the throw to first in time. Freddie Freeman stuck his left hand in there and hung with it. And Weber gets the third and final out of the inning. We head to the 7th inning stretch. Let's see if the Braves can give him that first run.
In this game, as scouts, as professionals, we make opinions. Ryan Weber with a changeup, righty on righty changeup, down and away at the knees to Darren Ruff in the 7th inning. I have got to tell you, as a former pitcher, that is a Jedi Master pitch. You don't learn how to do that or have the confidence to do that usually until you're in your late 20s or early 30s. That is absolutely fantastic, and you wonder if a guy's going to be serviceable or he's going to be really good up here. Ryan Weber showing you that he has the courage and the stuff to be very good. It'll be fun to watch this young man develop, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Paul. That's a good point. Tom Glavine, Joe, talked about that a lot when he went to New York with Rick Peterson as pitching coach, the pitching coach who still holds the record for the tightest pants in Major League history. Tom didn't like to throw his changeup to lefties, and his changeup was so good, his coach said, wait a minute, in golf they allow you to use 14 clubs in your bag. When you eliminate that pitch to those hitters, you're limiting your options. And for even a guy as accomplished as Tom Glavine, that was a revelation. As Jace Peterson leads off with a hit, and that's his second of the night, and the first for the Braves since Oliveira's 3rd inning triple.
Well, that Jedi Master nickname may stick with Ryan Weber. I love that. He's pitched his last inning tonight, and he's been brilliant. His spot up 3rd this inning, and Nick Swisher's come out to pinch hit for him. Having a chat there with Bubba about the friction on his fingers from his pitches.
That's fair ball right in front of the plate for one, on to first, 2, double play. Bourne tried to bunt, instead is doubled up. Ruiz still cat-like quick with a strong arm.
That was a great play. Michael Bourne was hoping it would kind of spin back, go foul. Didn't get out of the box. Carlos Ruiz got out of the catcher's box, I can tell you that. And got it before it could spin back foul. Easy double play.
So will be Swisher. Good to see Nick back and able to play after he fouled the ball off his foot a couple of nights ago. Well, was Weber impressive? 7 innings of 2-hit ball when he gave up a run, and that's the difference tonight. 5 strikeouts, a couple of walks. One ball, 1 strike. $24,855 saw the game tonight. And taken low, ball 2. To second. Galvis backhanded that ball as he went to a knee. And Eichhoff continues his dazzling work. 7 innings of shutout ball.
youngest instructors the Braves have on staff.
There you go. Don't miss out on a free post-game concert by one of the hottest new stars in country music, Sam Hunt, brought to you by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines, Thursday, October 1st, when the Braves take on the Nationals. Due to high demand, we have a limited amount of field passes available. Go to Braves.com/Sam Hunt and buy your tickets and field passes today.
Some good signs tonight. Edwin Jackson takes over on the mound for Ryan Weber. Jackson worked 2 days ago. His last outing was against Toronto. 2 innings of shutout ball, walk and a strikeout.
So the bullpen gates open up tonight, and frankly, the Braves bullpen's done a good job the last 3 or 4 ball games. And let's see if Jackson can hold him right there. Weber retired the last 10 he faced, and he's got the 6, 7, 8 hitters up for the Phillies here. Carlos Ruiz will be the first man up. Phillies are winning the game with 1 run and 2 hits. And Edwin turns it loose and is ahead 0-1.
In a row and 16 of 17 for Weber.
That's taken low. 2 balls and a strike. Broken bat, ground ball to second, and Peterson will make short work of the Phillies catcher, and there's the first out.
You gave that stat a minute ago on Ryan Weber, Chip. 18 out of 23 first pitch strikes. Remember, early in the count, 3 of the first 4 guys he faced, he went to full counts on. So he was not getting ahead, or he was, I should say, he was pitching behind later in the count, where they weren't offering it that sinker. Later in the night, as it went on, he was getting ahead in the count, and they were pretty much forced to hack at it, and that created a lot of good results for Ryan.
And a second inning run, the difference in the game to this point. So you're right, since that adjustment and all those strikes, nothing happening for the Phillies at the plate. Braves will have the top of their order coming up in the 8th inning. We'll see if Eichhoff continues on. He's gone through the Braves lineup 3 times tonight himself and has only given up 5 hits. Swing and a miss. That was a filthy pitch. 2 up, 2 down. Braves pitchers have struck out 6 Phillies hitters. That's the first for Edwin tonight.
Cody Ashe would just as soon take Atlanta off the schedule for the Phillies.
It's amazing, isn't it? The numbers for Ashe against Atlanta pitching, not good at all. Lifetime a 119 hitter. Entering tonight's play.
5 for 51 now.
And 16 for 137 in his career. That means he's hitting somebody else pretty hard. Not the Braves. As Galvis looks at a ball as we've hit 9 o'clock at Turner Field tonight. One and two.
Everybody's throwing strikes tonight. Good to see.
Yep.
Might have gotten a little help on that one.
Game 3 here tomorrow afternoon. Julio Teheran and Aaron Nola will be the pitching matchup. Jim Joyce will be behind the plate. That's always a treat. Love watching him work a game. In the air to left. And that'll be playable for Michael Bourne. He's got it. 1-2-3 inning for Edwin Jackson. Time for the Braves bats to get busy. Top of the order will come a calling. Nick Markakis will lead things off. It's 1-0 Phillies. Week's tour championship yet. If not, now's your chance. Get a Braves Field Reserve ticket for any remaining game this year and a Saturday Tour Championship grounds pass for $89, a savings of up to 34%. Go to Braves.com/PGA for more information. Eichhoff out after 7 scoreless innings of work.
With all due respect to Jerome Williams, it can't be any better. Jerome Williams spent about 2 months on the disabled list with a hamstring strain that he suffered beginning May 17th. And since he's gone to the bullpen, a 2.53 ERA in 7 relief appearances since he was moved there on August 28th.
So Eichhoff in line for his 2nd win unless the Braves come back with their final 6 outs. 1-0 Phillies have the lead. A 2nd inning tally, the only run of the night. And Williams missed outside, ball 1.
Braves have some good numbers against Jerome Williams. There's one of them. 368, couple of strikeouts, but good numbers for Nick. Freddie Freeman's 4 for 8 against him with 4 doubles.
Freddie's coming up 3rd in the inning. And Williams is promptly gone. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, he's made 2 starts against Atlanta this year. Gave up 9 earned runs in 12 2/3 innings and a 3.53 average.
Right back where it came from. A leadoff hit from Markakis and another multi-hit game. So there's a start Markakis represents the tying run.
Like a changeup that he was trying to drop in there, but it was too high. High 80s, low 90s fastball. A lot of cutters off that. Changeup, an occasional curve. Good start to the inning.
One ball, no strikes for Hector Oliveira, who brought the lumber with a triple earlier tonight.
It was in the third inning with one out, but the Braves couldn't get him home. Freddie Freeman walked. AJ popped up on the infield, and then Maben flew out to right.
That brought to you by Yellowwood as Hector Oliveira takes a strike. With the era of specialization in Major League Baseball, comebacks in the last 2 innings are very difficult to accomplish. The Braves have won 4 games this year when trailing after 7. It's never easy to come back that late. However, this would be the easiest of those monumental tasks. It's only a 1-run hole.
Right.
Ripped foul by Oliveira.
Jerome was fortunate there.
And for the Phillies this year, as you see this one,
another high changeup.
They're 45-1 when they lead after 7 innings. Downstairs. Full count.
We showed that graphic last night. They haven't had a blown save in the 9th inning. They've all been charged in the 7th or 8th.
Runner goes. Ball 4. 2 on, nobody out. A single and a walk. And here is Freeman, the man that Joe mentioned has had real good luck against Jerome Williams.
Bob McClure, a pitching coach, on his way out to talk to him. Confidence is such a great thing. We talk about it all the time. I know Paul Bird could vouch for this from the pitcher's standpoint, but when Freddie Freeman knows he's had success against him, he knows that Jerome Williams can't throw his fastball by him. Boy, that's a huge advantage for Freddie against any pitcher. Likewise, when a pitcher's got a pitch that he knows somebody can't hit, he knows he's got a place to go to get an out.
Braves bring in Pedro Ciriaco as a pinch runner at first base. And Atlanta will be very careful with Oliveira and his history of hamstring troubles. The importance of this move is if Freddie Freeman has an extra base hit, Ciriaco might be able to score and put the Braves in front. 2 on, nobody out. 8th inning, the Braves are down a run. And a strike over the outside corner.
They have fed him off-speed stuff all night. Freddie was the subject of our opening comments tonight, and his good luck against the Phillies this year. Came in hitting .339 against him.
That missed badly inside. Action in the Phillies bullpen. Gomez and Giles are up.
If they can get 2 outs, I can see them bringing in Giles for a 4-out save. But that's if. And now Again, Freddie with a good hitter's count, 3-1.
Yeah, right now, Pete McCannon would settle for 1 out.
Yeah.
Freddie's way ahead in the count. 3 balls and a strike. And on a play left side, full count.
A.J. Pierzynski on deck has not had that kind of luck against Williams. He's 3 for 17.
High fly ball left field. That's well hit. Sweeney going back. Warning track. He can't find it. The ball drops on the warning track. Here comes Ciriaco. He's going to score. It's 2-1.
Make him 5 for 9 with 5 doubles off of Jerome Williams. I lost it in the scoreboard, Chip. I don't know if you did. I honestly thought Sweeney caught this ball.
Too.
We had to kind of wait and see. No, he never got leather on it, and then crashed into the wall and couldn't find the baseball. And the fact that Ciriaco pinch ran was a difference maker too, scoring from first.
So the Braves have jumped in front. Jerome Williams did not retire a batter. Ciriaco, another thing in play here, you got a second baseman playing left field. I don't know if that factored into whether or not Sweeney could have caught this ball or not.
Yeah, because it was a tough play. He sliced it. I mean, it was hit high, and it obviously hit the wall on the fly, so it's going to be a tough play for any left fielder. But the fact that he has not played left field very much, and that ball was slicing away from him, that was a very difficult play, and certainly played into the Braves' hands, that inexperience, and the fact that Ciriaco was flying up from the get-go. When I thought he caught the ball, I thought they're going to get a triple play.
Yeah,
because the runners had seen it. I hadn't.
Right,
and they were running like crazy.
Yeah, I lost it in the scoreboard too. In fact, the ball hit off the wall, and the ball was between Sweeney's body and the fence.
Yeah,
and then it trickled to the warning track. So the double, our Toyota key play of the game. Jean-Marc Gomez, the third pitcher of the night for the Phillies, and he faces A.J. Pierzynski with Freeman at second and nobody out. He lifts one toward left. This one an easier play for Sweeney. He makes it. And another fly ball out from A.J. Pierzynski is the first of the inning.
Yeah, tough times right now for A.J. Everything's in the air. And to me, that's typical of a guy who's the head of his bat is dropping as he's trying to get it through there. It's the end of the season. Everybody's a little tired. And when the head of the bat drops, there's not much you can do but hit the bottom half of the ball. That extra run is important for the bullpen. Needed to get Freddie over.
He couldn't, and now Maben's the batter. Game-winning hit for Cameron last night. Let's see if he can provide an insurance run with Freeman at second and one out now. One ball, no strikes.
That was a late call. Gomez a low 90s fastball, slider and a change. Jerome Williams did not record an out.
That's Tapper foul, and Cameron down to his last strike. It's 1-2. When we get to the ninth inning, the pitcher spot is due first, then Blanco, then Sweeney. Bouncing ball to third. Ashe's got it, even with the bag. Long throw, and Maben out by a half stride. Freeman at second, 2 outs. Fans, the most popular way to follow the action of Braves baseball is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get the MLB.com at bat app now. Ambleton has a hit tonight. That came in the second inning.
And he's 3 for 4 off Gomez.
Pumps over a strike. So a lot of things in play so far tonight. Braves have not come back from 7th inning deficits very often. The Phillies have lost only 1 game when they lead after 7. Those tables turned in the 8th inning tonight. Good eye by Simmons. 1-1 the count. Jerome Williams had been pitching great out of the bullpen for the Phillies since late August. He didn't have it tonight. Now Gomez way behind Simmons, 3 balls and a strike. Gomez 3rd in the big leagues in innings pitched in relief. Over 70 innings. Line to short, and that will retire the side. Simmons hit it hard, but that ends the inning. Freddie Freeman with a 2-run double to left off Jerome Williams brings home Markakis and Siriaco, and the Braves will try to win it with 3 more outs in the ninth. Hottest new stars in country music. Sam Hunt, brought to you by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. Thursday, October 1st, the Nationals will be in town. High demand for that concert. Will have limited amount of field passes available. Get them online at Braves.com. Atlanta 2, Phillies 1. Same score as last night. Same scenario as last night. The Braves have a terrific one-run game run working here at Turner Field.
Well said by you. Quite a streak. Longest in franchise history. Got to make it 18.
Pedro Siriaco is going to stay in the game to play third base. Arodys Vizcaíno is going to try to close it down. Jeff Francoeur is going to pinch hit. And all the hard work by Jared Eichhoff out the window. He can't win it tonight.
But taking Weber off the hook, that's a nice thing.
Yes, sir.
The thing about Vizcaíno tonight, this is where we were last night. Francoeur leading off, and he walked him. And then a boot at third. Missed strike 3 that went to the screen. Took him 5 outs to get 3. And took extra pitches.
Freddie Gonzalez had a nice line about that after the game. That was a growing experience. And the growing experience for Vizcaíno is sometimes you do have to pick up your teammates. Sometimes you do have to pitch around a missed call. It's not always going to be sunshine and roses, 1, 2, 3 and out. But at the end of the day, he got the final out, and he's quickly ahead of Francoeur, 0-2. And he's got a good fastball tonight. He's throwing it 99 miles an hour. Struck him out. 98, right on by, 1 away.
Gas. I talked to Arodys briefly today when he was going out for batting practice and complimented him on his work last night, especially his breaking ball. I said, I thought it was your best breaking ball of the year, and he said, me too. So he felt good about that. But tonight, that was just cheese, high cheese right there.
You know, I didn't know that Arodys spoke Oklahoman.
He does. He does. The little twang.
1 away for Blanco, top of the order now. He's 0 for 3. And up and away, 1 ball, no strikes. This is another growing experience for Vizcaíno. Home road doesn't matter. Toughest save in the game is the 1-run save in the 9th. They got Francoeur to swing and miss. He's got an even count for Blanco. Two balls, 1 strike. 24,000 plus at Turner Field. Trying to do the wave in the top of the 9th. Line into right center field, a base hit for Blanco. Markakis cuts over. Maben cuts over. Blanco cuts the bases and is in at second with a 1-out double.
This guy's a good player. Hitting just a little under 300. Switch hitter. Can play anywhere on the infield. And now comes through with a clutch hit off a guy throwing a bazillion.
So he represents the tying run. Sweeney is the hitter, 0 for 3. Sweeney's got some power. He's hit 3 homers. And he took a strike. Line. Simmons dives to his left and makes a great catch. Whew.
Aren't you glad he's our guy? I mean, he had just backed up after kind of bird dogging Blanco a little bit. Can't believe Blanco was heads up not to get doubled off on that. That was some good base running after a brilliant play.
A line out ended last night's game. A line out here in the ninth is the second out of the inning. And now Vizcaíno's got to get Odubel Herrera, who was 0 for 2 with a walk. Peterson robbed him in his last at bat.
Remember, he's the guy that struck out last night and still reached.
Ball in the dirt that bounced over the screen and into the stands. It's one of those 5 outs Joe was talking about. And a strike, a breaking ball. Paint job outside corner, 0-2. Listen to this place. The backstop, and Blanco to third base. How in the world Herrera got out of the way of that, I will never know. That was miraculous.
Yeah, it was. There was good reason for that Charlie Brown equipment dump. I don't know how it missed him. Behind him. It actually didn't miss him, other than the fact, I mean, he didn't get out of the way. It just missed him.
Yeah, I don't blame you for shaking your head on that one. Talk about courage. Stand in after a pitch like that. And now the tying run's 90 feet away. AJ's got to sacrifice the body if it's in the dirt. One ball, 2 strikes.
I think the breaking ball is a good call here. Tried it there, but he kind of overthrew it, trying to make sure it was away. They're going with the heater.
2-2. You know, Herrera might be somewhat unnerved by that pitch behind him. You hope Vizcaíno isn't too.
Had to throw 29 pitches last night. He's thrown 16 already tonight. But still at 98.
Full count pitch. Ends the ball game.
Breaking ball.
Woo. Great call by Przinsky. Great execution by Vizcaíno. And the Braves have won back-to-back games for the first time since early August. Edwin Jackson earns his first win as a Brave. Freddie Freeman with the game-winning RBIs. hands the Phillies their second loss when leading after 7 innings this year. Back-to-back 2-1 finals at Turner Field tonight. Beautiful pitch, beautiful way to end the ball game. Braves have taken the first 2 from the Phillies.